I am not very much into politics, and in fact, I am not even a member of any political party. I love my peace. I love to protect my peace, and the one thing that I've noticed with politicians is that they create problems and they create ways to solve them. So I do not want this. I do not want to deal or to focus on someone who is always creating problems and creating solutions. This person, in one word, we can call them selfish. They are selfish people. So I think politicians are selfish. Could be otherwise, but most of them are selfish. I only talk about politics only when it really affects so much my social life. And one thing that have really affected my social life is my freedom to travel. I am from Tanzania. My passport is among those passports that cannot go anywhere. I am lucky that I can go around Africa, yeah, but I cannot go to other countries like Asia. Many Asian countries don't allow me there. As I'm speaking, even those countries that most of the people go, like maybe Thailand, Indonesia, China, like those countries where a lot of people are going there, I cannot go. Recently, I am trying to apply for my visa, for my temporary visa here in Ecuador, and Tanzania is not in the Apostille Convention, something like convention or something, and I have to get some documents from Tanzania that shows that I'm not a criminal, which is the requirement for any country. If you want to move into any country, you need this, right? But the stamps that are coming from Tanzania are not enough for the country here. They need a consulate or someone who is here to stamp my documents and say that these stamps that I brought from Tanzania are really true. And these people who are doing this job are supposed to be they're supposed to be a consulate or a Tanzanian embassy where you bring them. And in northern and southern of America, there are only two embassies, which are Brazil and in Washington. There is one also, but I contacted the Brazil embassy, and the one who is supposed to stamp for me is on a vacation, and he will be back in 2 weeks, of which I have minimum time for this application. It's something that was returned, like, hey, you are missing this document, so I need it urgently. And every time I try to call the Washington embassy, they are not there, and when they pick up, they say the one who is supposed to work is not there. So somehow it's affecting me somehow, and this is a problem that is there, right? But how do they want to, what is the way to fix this? The way to fix this is to put in some embassies. But where are these embassies? The embassies are very far, or they are nowhere to be seen, or they are not picking up. So it's like there is a problem and there is a solution, but this solution is not really working. You have to really work hard to get the solution, and all this is just making it very harder for people to really explore the world and open up their heads. I think the one thing that people or politicians thought is that when people really interact and get to know each other and move from one country to another, there will be this change in their mind on how the world is, and people will really start fighting and starting to be against the system. So the system should be the way it is by putting every certain kind of people in their space. How is this? We have to make something called passport, and people have to have struggles in movements. So freedom of movement is there, but it's not there. So this is how I am affected right now. And it's not my first time. I have had scenarios where I'm stopped at the airport, and it's just some small stuff that are nowhere to be seen. You have nowhere to learn about them, but they're there. Like, you cannot go to this, you cannot be in this waiting area because you're not supposed to be at this waiting area because you don't have a certain kind of visa, you don't have a certain kind of thing. It's like little problems. So I think I don't like so much talking about this topic, but I will talk about it because I think really slavery is still there, and we have no freedom. Especially people of my kind have not so much freedom. I a little bit understand when it comes to also white people that they also somehow don't have freedom in some ways. So no one has freedom. As I started saying from the beginning, that politicians are selfish, so it's always about them and not about the people. So even the whitest person on earth is still somehow suffering in some ways. Could be in a tax-paying way. Yeah, it could be in war ways. Just having to sacrifice one of your relatives who is a soldier just to fight for some people, you know. Being placed things in the head that you're fighting for the people who are down, but actually you're fighting for the people who are up. So I really love my peace, and I hope I won't be talking a lot about politicians and political stuff, but I wanted to at least acknowledge the fact that slavery and the fact that we are not free is still out there. I think in 2020, when I finished school, like when I finished university, I decided that I'm going to learn French. And by the time I didn't have money, and the reason why I decided, I had this decision even before I had money, like I had this amount of money to pay for my French school. The reason was, I noticed that the second most spoken language after Swahili, which is my tongue, which is my mother tongue. By the way, Tanzania, we have the best Swahili. So after Swahili, I speak Swahili and English. So after Swahili, I felt like, oh, and a little bit of Spanish now. I speak a little bit of Spanish. So after Swahili, the most spoken language is French. So I digged deeper and thought like, wow, it's interesting that the most spoken language is French. Because this means then a lot of my brothers and sisters who are Africans, West Africans and Central Africans, are speaking French, and it's crazy nice. Even my neighbors, Congolese people, are speaking French. Some part of the Congolese territory, let's say, they speak French. So I thought like, wow, I want to learn this language because I want to really interact with people and understand. I had a customer. I was making tie-dye and selling tie-dye, and I had a customer who I was teaching tie-dye. She was from Ghana. She was a French teacher, and she was from Ghana. And she also inspired me because she spoke French. It's crazy. I think, was she from Ghana or Niger? I'm a little bit confused, but I don't really remember so much. It's long ago, 4 years ago. So I thought like, wow, she speaks French. Would be nice to also like have this feeling like when you speak the same language, you feel like you know each other. When you are abroad and you hear someone speaking your language, you feel like they are a part of you. You feel like, wow, they are me. They are from where I am from. So I wanted to learn French for this purpose because a lot of Africans are speaking French, and I wanted to be among those people who speak French. So I had a lack of winning a certain contest. Yeah, it was a contest that the French embassy in Tanzania had, where you put in your picture and you say a story about the picture, and it's another story. If you want to know about it, I can say about it in another video because it's a long story. And I won a free class. I won a free French class. It was A1, and yeah, I went to my A1 class, and it was quite nice. I enjoyed French and I like it. I would possibly maybe in the future learn it when I need it, when I think I need it, because now I don't think I need it anymore. I don't. The reason behind it is the reason that makes me not want to learn it anymore. What is the reason behind it? So the reason behind that many territories, many Africans are speaking French is the fact that French is still colonizing these countries, not in a colonizing way, but in a way that you don't see like it's colonizing. Crazy. How? There is limits in economical stuff. I don't know how to explain this. Like, these countries will never develop because they have this CFC franc. It's their currency, and this currency is the currency that was established by French people in these countries after they gave them their independence. What is this currency doing? This currency is the currency that not many countries accept it. For example, in Europe, you want to sell your cacao, you want to sell your gold, you want to sell anything, you have to first pass and change it into Europe. In France, this is what they have to do. Let's say Burkina Faso, it's one of the countries that is using this. They want to sell their gold to Europe. They want to earn money. They have to first go to France and exchange exchange it there into euro, on the amount, on the level of I don't know terminologies a lot about political and economical stuff, but on that level where the French people decide that, okay, we are going to buy at this market level, you understand? And this currency have made these countries so poor in the fact that these people who are living in these countries are the people who are migrating to Europe, and everyone is asking, why are they coming here? We do not want them here. You are the one who are pushing them there. And this gets me to think back, is this not a voluntary way of them trying to bring in voluntary slaves into Europe? So all these things that are a problem gets a solution, which is, okay, you come to our countries, we bring you in, that's the solution, right? But what is the consequence of this solution? Which brings me to another point where there is war on the way, and many people who are now going to several countries, like maybe let's say Germany or something, it's easier to get your residency there. Why is it easier? Because these people are looking for strong people who are going to fight for them when it's needed. I don't know if it's needed. I am not sure. I'm not war expert. I don't know if there is war coming soon. Whatsoever it is, that we have to be careful, guys. We have to really be careful. Slavery is still there. I heard, I think a couple of weeks ago, or 1 week or 2 weeks, I think I came across the news that there is a president in Burkina Faso. Is it a president? I think they call him Captain Ibrahim, I'm not really sure. I'm not a political person. And he decided that he's not dealing with CFC franc. He decided that he's going to make his own currency. He already made his own bank, and he's making his currency, he's backing up his currency with gold, which is a good thing, not with euro. Because what also these French people do to this African country is that they go there, they buy gold, because this money they can control the printing of the money, they can control the interest and everything. So they just go there with their money. They decide, okay, now CFC franc is boom to, let's say, I just give an example, it was $10, but because they want to come and buy cacao, they say boom, it's $50. They come there, they take all the chocolate and buy them with, $5, or maybe $10 to $5 or $2 or 50 cents, let's say, it's just an example. And then they go there, they go, okay, now CFC is $50, 50 cents, we're coming to buy some cacao from you guys. They come there and buy cacao for cheap prices. They buy gold for cheap prices. They just take everything. And this is actually very crazy that the politicians always make problems and find solutions that are not really solutions. They're just relief solution. But this relief solution, when you follow it, you have a huge consequence around it. Like a huge consequence. There must be some people who stand up and do something. I'm not a political person, but I thought like I should talk about this. It's something that a lot of people would know, but since political stuff is not their issue, they don't really want to know. They don't really Google it and want to know what is happening in Burkina Faso. But if this is in your feed, it is in another person's feed, maybe they would be curious, right? If you share this to your friends, share this to your family members, and they know what is going on. This is just a little bit of what is going on. There's so many things that are going on out there in the world, and it always keeps me wondering, like, what is going on with the world? Like, why can't we just live all together and share all the things we have without consequences? There are so many consequences out there, and we have to be eyes open, because there is something called freedom that was promised when there was abolition of slave trade or independence. Independence is freedom. But what is this freedom costing people? Is there really freedom, or is it said that there is freedom? I don't know. Why can some countries travel everywhere, but some countries cannot travel everywhere? Why? So we have to ask ourselves these kind of questions and think of what we want to do. Do we want to just keep quiet? Yeah, as I said in the beginning of the video, you can choose to, not everyone is a hero. You can choose to speak once and share your experience, like I do, sharing my experience. Or you can be Nelson Mandela and really do it. Go to the prison for others, for their liberation. But you could also just keep quiet and live your life and just do the way that people are directed to be doing. Boom, 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 going like this. So it takes few people like Captain Ibrahim to do this. I don't really know his background and whatsoever he's doing. People from Burkina Faso, if you are watching this, you can tell me in the comment section how proud are you from your captain. But so far, I think he is, from what I have read about him, I think he's really trying to help to help, and it could be the help with a consequence, but it's a help, and the consequence could be war, could be anything, but at least he's doing something. At least he's standing there and doing something. I had a very nice president that I am very proud of, Magufuli. He's late Magufuli, he's gone, but he was a very good president. To me, he was the only vote I gave. Actually, it was my first vote. I was 18 years old. I voted this, and I voted for him, and I was so proud that I voted for him. And I voted for him because I think I once saw one of his campaign, and he really made me want to vote for him. I only saw one campaign of him, and I said, I am going to vote for this guy because he sounded and seemed very genuine and wanted to really bring Tanzania to a certain point. And this was my biggest involvement in politics, and I'm not looking forward to be involved so much in politics because I already know that it's always a problem they create that they solve, and the solving always has consequences. So my people out there, just pick what side you are. Are you a side of just silencing? Are you a side of sharing experience? Are you a side of really doing something? Do you want to be a politician? So just pick a side. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please like the video. Also subscribe if you like the content. It's not going to be the same content like this, but I always speak out my mind. Probably, hopefully one day I will talk about politics again, so you never know. Just subscribe in case, so I can keep this moving, you know. And if you subscribe and like, it's going to be nice for me. Like, I need it. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.